It's Taste of Country Nights with Evan Paul on demand, Season 2, Episode 30 with Tigirlily Gold. What exactly is a Tigirlily?
It's a lily. Lily. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really, how do you describe it? It's an orange
Let's
lily.
talk flowers.
Yeah.
I promise you we talked a lot more than just flowers. It's a long, in-depth interview with an up-and-coming group. It's a duo. They're sisters, really sweet ladies, and they are really talented. And we got a long conversation about where they come from and where they hope to go. Thank you for checking out Taste of Country Nights on demand, this episode that you're about to listen to. If you want to hear a past episode, recently we had Dasha, Jason Aldean, Kelsea Ballerini, Brantley Gilbert, Darius Rucker. They've all been guests here at Taste of Country Nights on demand. Just search for Taste of Country Nights on demand wherever you get your favorite podcasts. This is part of the Town Square Media Podcast Network. Evan Paul here. We're hanging out with Tigirlily Gold. What's happening?
Hey, how are you?
Great. Well, now, am I hearing things or seeing things? Weren't y'all once Tigirlily? If you go way back, okay.
Oh my gosh, you know the OG us.
I've been on your guys' Instagram back with like so many W. It's like 145 W. I think it was like 2 years or something.
That's awesome.
What was the edition about?
The edition, yes. So there's a lot of other bands, brands, boutiques, just a lot of stuff with the name Tigirlily, and people were getting us confused with those other things. And so we wanted to just make sure that people knew us as the country music sister duo. So we added gold, Tigirlily Gold, to make that
and now we're
distinction.
One of a kind.
And now we're, And once we added gold, honestly, a lot of good things started to happen. So it might have been the best thing we ever did.
That's really cool. Honestly, I didn't know much about a Tigirlily flower. I didn't know that was a thing.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Where'd you grow up?
Like North Carolina.
Okay, so we grew up in North Dakota.
There were wild Tigirlilies.
And that's, there were Tigirlilies in our parents' backyard, and so that's how we came up with that.
What is it? Like, what does it look like?
It's like an orange
it's a lily.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really, how do you describe it? It's an orange
Let's
lily.
talk flowers.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about the song, though. Have either of you guys lived the exact scenario of that song, or was it over exaggerated?
Oh, I tried to ring on?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we wrote it. It's funny because at the time I was in a relationship and I kind of had pictured what would I feel like if we were to break up? And then we did. So I feel like, did I manifest my own breakup at the time? We wrote the song a couple years ago, but a lot of our friends were going through the process of breakups, and they were just so upset. They were upset that they were heartbroken, of course, but they were just so upset that they had to start over again. That frustration of thinking you have forever with somebody and having to start over again is something that like is not as talked about in the breakup scenario.
Right.
So we just wanted to be real and tell those emotions. And I went through that whole process myself later that year when we wrote it. It hits home, but obviously now, like I said, we wrote this song a couple of years ago. So now when I sing it, it's just a memory, and I hope that this song can be healing to other people.
So wait, but you try to ring on?
Yes, I've never been engaged. I will say have never been engaged.
But you went to the store and you were like, I want to see what it feels like?
Well, when someone tells you, hey, go try rings on so you know what you like and what your ring size is, you probably listen to them.
Why would he tell you that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Like when I proposed, I went through all kinds of measures to get her ring size. Like I tied a rope around her finger when she was sleeping.
You
don't just say go try a ring on.
I think this is explanatory why this didn't work out.
It
which is,
sounds like
for the best.
I'm pissed
but
at this guy.
I was also like 22 at the time. I didn't know what I was doing.
So he said go try a ring on.
He said, He said, what do you want? Go try some on so you know what you want. And I said, okay.
What do you want?
Well, it's different now.
It's different now.
I'm with a different guy.
Yeah, it can't be the same.
So the new guy, is there pressure when he hears this song?
Well, so my boyfriend, he's actually in the country music industry, so he's also an artist. So he understands that you write songs about experiences, and he's very supportive. So he knows it's just a song. So
it doesn't mean it's current now.
Right. Okay. So he's just proud of me and we support each other. So it's not too weird for him.
Okay. Has the ex reached out to you about the song or through to you to get to her?
No. We don't talk.
He's been very respectful. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not friends, So like we're no bad blood, no bad blood, but like he wouldn't reach out and I wouldn't reach out either. So.
Okay, but he knows? Because, I mean, he's telling his friends, no doubt, that this is my song.
Well, he heard the song.
He heard the song before we broke up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's known it for a long time.
So now this is a real stick it to him because he's hearing this every day, everywhere. You can't ignore it.
I try not to be bitter.
Come on, I'm letting you.
Life happens how it's supposed to.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
Taylor Swift was the first person to inspire y'all to write music.
Mm-hmm.
Have you gotten to meet Taylor Swift?
No, that's one person we would absolutely love to meet. We've gotten to meet quite a few of our heroes. We got to meet Dolly this year, and that was a big one for us.
Tell me about that.
So we were a part of, let me get this right, Dolly Parton's Pet Gala event on CBS. It was a dog fashion show with her new...
Of course.
It's only something Dolly can do.
Yeah.
And we were invited to be presenters on the show, and so we were there. We didn't know if we'd get to meet Dolly or not. But then right before we, went to film the segment, they were like, can you guys also go on stage and sing Jolene with Dolly with a few other people at the end of the show? And I was like, can we? So during rehearsal, she's standing there singing Jolene. We're behind her singing Jolene. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And then she turned around and she looked at us and we're like, hi, Dolly. We love you so much. Thanks for having us. And she's like, oh, it's just so great to see the young generation coming up. And I was like,
is this real?
Is this real? What's happening? We've been touched by an angel. Yeah.
What did she smell like?
She smells and looks and acts like just how you think she would.
Wow.
Just like they say, don't meet your heroes, but Dolly Parton is an exception to all of that.
Okay. Now, I mean, not to get weird, but like, did you touch her?
Yes, she held her. She held our hands. We hugged her. And that dress,
she took my hands like this, and I was like,
Stop it. Did you feel like you were going to do that pass out
I feel like
thing?
she gave me superpowers a little bit.
I'm never washing that dress. And I know that sounds probably gross, but I'm never washing that dress.
Once. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Who is your dream collaboration other than Taylor Swift to write or sing with?
Since we're a duo, we always said it would be so cool to collab with another duo, maybe Dan and Shay or Brothers Osborne, or even go the girl route and do like Heart. Mm-hmm. How cool would that be? Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
iconic duos
would be so fun for us. Mm-hmm. But man, any of the women in country right now, we love them so much and they're just killing it. And so kind of up for whatever. We're a collab in itself all the time.
Right,
so it's got to be the right song.
So it's got to be the right song.
Moment,
Yeah, exactly.
A true duet.
Okay.
Yep.
Who are you guys feeling in country music?
Oh,
so good.
Kelsea, Lainey,
Carly's
Carly,
new album's great.
Ashley, Megan, just so many of these females right now are just killing it. And I think the ones that are really breaking through are just so exceptional. And, we're grateful that we can even be a small part of the rise of females in country music right now. And they've all got something to say. They're all so strong and powerful in their stories. And it's just really cool.
The first name you said was Kelsea. That's interesting. I have something I would like to play for you guys. You're kind of a veteran now in country. Are there any newcomers that you're excited about?
Oh, Tigirlily Gold. They're incredible.
Yeah.
They're so nice. And they're doing so, I see them everywhere. And they don't even look tired.
Oh, we do.
I don't know how they do that. I'm wondering how they do that. I would like to know. They're really incredible. I'm a huge fan of them.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills.
Why is she so nice?
I love her so much. And we keep running into her, and she's so kind. And I just love her so much. And that is so cool to see someone that we look up to like that saying something about us. I'm like, are you sure you have the right band?
Yeah, she's been so incredibly nice. And she's been in the industry, for probably 10 years at this point.
I think, yeah.
And it's so awesome to have people like that who you've admired and been fans of them for a long time, but now they're actually giving you advice and kind of taking us under their wings. And it's awesome.
Amazing.
And I do believe when people say country music is a family, you're not going to like all the family, but there's some people in the family that will take you under the wing and they will support you. And that's so necessary and so valued.
Mm-hmm.
Who is someone that has done that for you guys?
Well, look at Kelsea. She's doing that.
I'd say Walker Hayes has been awesome. We started writing with him. We're on tour with him right now. He's so awesome. Ashley McBride's been really kind.
Carly Pierce. We've been getting to know Lainey a lot more now, and she's been so kind and just offering us advice. And I mean, so many people are so good. And
Hillary Scott from Lady
Hillary Scott has been a huge one for us.
We've been to coffee with her a couple of times, and
she made us cry over coffee.
About what?
Because she looked at us.
Go ahead. Yeah.
She looked at you.
Well, she just looked at us. No, she looked at us and was like, I just, more than anything, I can just see y'all's love for each other as sisters and never lose that. And I'm so proud of you guys. And we were really tired at the time we had coffee with her. But just for her to say something like that, she's been through everything in this industry, and we trust her advice so much. She's just such an incredible person. And so to have people like that in your corner who you can look to for advice going through this journey, we're experiencing a lot of things still for the first time, and she's been through it. And so,
right. And she's also in a group. There's not a lot of like duos and groups to break through in country music, and especially as a family band. And she just looked at us and said, country music needs y'all, which was so weird to hear from her. I was like, okay.
and then we just started crying over coffee, and she's probably like, dang it, are y'all okay?
No. But yeah, it's really cool to have her give all of her advice, because we really need it a lot of times.
What about like family members? Like, have your parents met any country artists, and have they freaked out?
Yes.
So this was hilarious. So our mom came with us to the ACM Awards. And she knew she was going to be sitting on the floor, but last minute she ended up getting put right with us in, where all the artists are sitting. And she is not the kind of person who wants to be on camera, like, at all. So I was telling her, like, Mom, you're going to be with all the artists, you're going to be sitting, and
she freaked out.
She freaked out. It was so funny. But I was like, Mom, you can say hi to anyone you want. Like, no one's going to be rude. But who has she got to meet? She's got to meet Kelsea. Well, Kelsey's mom and my mom kind of have become friends, which is really cool. So she'll reach out to Carla for advice or if good things are happening in Kelsey's world. She'll be like, oh my gosh, look at Kelsey's going to be on The Voice. And they'll text and stuff. And that's really sweet.
That's so cute.
More than anything, I'm like, Mom, finding friends, that are moms in the industry that you can talk to and, get advice from too is such an important thing. So that's been fun for her. But she says she's not starstruck, but she's totally starstruck.
And our dad, so my mom, she loves country music. She loves all things country music. Okay. And my dad loves country music, but also he's a football guy. As dads are.
Right.
So we've got to do a couple NFL anthems, which has been so fun. So we got to sing at Lambeau. Last year.
That's cool.
So my dad, he loves country music, but when we get to do NFL stuff,
that's when we're cool.
Does he
Kendall
come with
is
you?
there.
Oh,
He's not missing that. He's not missing that, because we actually got to be in a suite and we sang the national anthem. And a well-known fact for the Green Bay Packers is Lil Wayne
is a
huge fan.
Yeah.
So we got to share a suite with him.
Wow, what was that like?
I kept looking over.
Crazy. He was so nice.
Yeah.
They said, he's very into the game. I was like, I'm not gonna, bother him and stuff. But we both like nerd clusters. I found out
the pink bag nerds gummy clusters.
So we were a little starstruck by Lil Wayne, because you expect to meet people in the country music industry, obviously.
Right.
But Lil Wayne is someone I'm probably never going to run into him again.
Well, we're going to collab hopefully one day.
I did say,
I mean, there's got to be something.
On.
I'm pretty shameless. I try to have tact, but with a case like Lil Wayne, I was like, I'm probably never going to see this dude again, so I'm just going to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, if you're ever looking to feature on a country record, we're your girls.
Yeah.
There you go.
I put it out there.
It's in the universe.
What do you say? All right.
He was like, yeah. We're like, this is never going to happen.
What about the chicks? Would you ever do something with them?
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
We grew up listening to them, and when we played down on Broadway, covered every chick song there is. I mean, There's Your Trouble, Wide Open Spaces, Cowboy Take Me Away. Their music has been such an important thing for us as a duo in country music right now. They paved the way for all these female groups coming through, and so we're so grateful for them. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, we've never got to meet them.
No.
So one day,
amazing.
And we always kind of model. There hasn't been a girl group or duo since the Chicks who've sold out arenas. It's been 20 years.
Like we want to fill that.
So that is our ultimate goal, is to be a girl duo, girl group that is selling out arenas. That's why we have done everything.
What's the deal with Carly? Why doesn't she want to be in the group?
Carly's getting the spotlight.
So Carly is our younger sister.
We do have another sister, which a lot of people don't realize.
Oh, yeah. Why they don't want to sing?
She doesn't want to sing. She doesn't. Well, she does get a little jealous when we travel the world to cool places. Like if we go to London or something, she's like, I'm just so jealous. I'm like, you could have joined the band. We were trying to be a trio.
We tried to get her to.
The only song she would ever sing with us is Butterfly Fly Away from the Hannah Montana movie. We did get her to sing that with us a few times growing up, but she doesn't like the spotlight, would not be her thing. But she would love to someday, if we're doing so well, she would love to come on the road with us and help out, maybe do some merch, maybe.
Well, that's what I was just saying. What if, I mean, she's your sister. So, like, what if you guys would, like, once it blows up and you guys are, what if she's like, I wanted to join the band?
Oh, no. It just would never happen.
It's worked.
She doesn't like singing. She doesn't like being on stage. It's just no. That's a closed door.
Yeah, she chose. She made her choice.
This is a duo, and we love her. But
love her. Okay. Yeah, love her to death.
What's the worst band fight you guys have been in? Is it like something over cover songs to play at a
band
gig?
Fight.
You know, it's interesting because Kendra and I are such on the same page musically, so we don't really when we argue. Which is we get along pretty well because I tell people if we did not get along, there's absolutely no way we could be in a band together because you spend a lot of time together. So we don't really argue over music stuff.
No.
We actually
personally
argue more like sister personal stuff.
Yeah. Like what's the most like silliest what is normal arguments?
Well, we argue about what time to get to the airport
all the time.
Okay. Let me guess which one wants to be there early and which one wants to be there late. You want to be there early?
No.
Really?
She's the older sister. She's a little more type A, and she's like, "We're gonna miss the flight and be late." And I'm like, "Man,
I just want to roll in
20 more minutes of sleep. I'm doing it."
Wow.
Yeah. We fight sometimes. Well, not anymore because you have a good boy now, but sometimes about her, choices in boys or men or
it sounds like your choices of men are leading to some good tumultuous songs, though.
Yeah, it does give us some.
I hope no more tumultuous songs. I hope only good ones now.
It's easier to write sad songs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
She's like
past experiences.
Yeah.
What's on your guys' tour rider?
Dots Pretzels. Have you ever had those?
They're
fantastic.
Seen those. Okay, I haven't had those.
Dots Pretzels, hand sanitizer.
Diet Coke. Batteries.
Lay's baked chips.
Oh, yeah.
Ritz crackers. Water.
And we usually do like a small bottle of Casamigos with some lime LaCroix and just mix it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of
our rider's not too crazy right now. We just, you got to give us some water and then we'll be okay.
Okay.
Very high maintenance.
Yeah, very high maintenance over here.
All right. And what's next for you guys coming up this year?
Oh my gosh.
A lot of touring, doing all that.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to make another record. Might as well, dropping the debut album, obviously Blonde, but we've already have record 2 halfway done.
Yeah, we're just writing, creating, honestly, half the things that have happened in the past 2 years, we haven't seen them coming. So we're excited to see.
We don't usually know before other people do.
Really? Okay.
I mean, maybe a little bit before, but we're excited to also see what happens. We have a song right now at radio called I Try to Ring On.
Yeah.
And there's never been a sister duo with a #1 at country radio. And so we're trying to maybe make some history there and see how that goes. But regardless, we love to create. We love to make music. We love to tour. And so that's what we're going to continue to do.
I have an idea for your next album cover.
Okay, I'm very excited.
Okay. I think it should be Kendra with her eyes turned out, eyelids popped.
How do you know this?
Yeah.
You did some deep digging.
What in the world?
Who did you
don't
talk
tell
to?
people this. Who did you talk to?
Can you do that?
Is this going to be so disgusting?
Can we see it?
You haven't done this in a long time.
Can you do it so we can see it?
Evan's like, I want it.
Oh.
That is so embarrassing. No, it doesn't hurt. Good thing I didn't have fake lashes on today. I knew you were going to make me do that. That's why. My grandpa taught me how to do that.
Why don't you do that?
I don't think my eyes work that way. I don't know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, we love the song. We play it and we love it. Thank y'all. Yeah.
I don't know how to transition after that.
There is none. That's how we're just going to end it. Yeah. All right, let's bring in Billy Dukes to negotiate the afterthoughts. I've been working on that of this interview. What you got, Billy?
So I wasn't there for this one. Tell me you got video of Kendra turning her eyes inside out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Oh, yeah. That's what I think. I mean, we were filming, so that was the goal. You could tell that she was a little shook by that. That's my new thing is I'm trying to dig in and find one thing about each artist that they're like, what?
Yeah. They certainly were surprised by that. I feel like several years from now, they might regret doing that on camera, but we got them now. We got them.
Yeah, we locked it in, man. Yeah, we need to put that somewhere. Actually, by the time we need to get that going because I think people need to see that. You know, anytime you have an artist that has a second talent, especially flipping your eyelid inside out, I think people need to see that.
Yeah, I'll put that to our YouTube channel and the shorts here before too long. Maybe by the time the podcast is released, if not a few hours later. But that was special. That's pretty
good. Even after the interview, like we took pictures and then they were leaving, and she like turned and looked back at me and she was like, "For real though, how do you know that?" And I was just like. I don't know. I was like, no, I'm keeping this one.
Do you find it more difficult, like Tigirlily Gold, to younger art? I mean, they're quite a bit younger than you, different life experiences than you to this point. Does that make it easier or a little bit more challenging to interview a duo like that?
A little more challenging, but not. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm only answering that just because you asked, really. I wouldn't be like, man, that was challenging because they're so young. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it's a little more challenging if it's, you just have to be able to put yourself in their position. You know, I like to picture each artist on tour and getting ready to go on stage and, you know, you just got to put yourself in how they feel. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Well, I kind of can relate because I've always found it, in most cases, when the age gap's really big, easy. But when the age gap narrows just a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. Like, all right, so I'm going to turn 45 in October. Like, interviewing the 28-year-old artist sometimes can be a little challenging. But interviewing the 22-year-old artist... And I'll give you an example, Maddie and Tay. I've always gotten on really well with Maddie and Tay, and I started talking to them when they were like 16. I mean, they were really young when that song, their first hit came out. But we've always just gone on really, really well. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting because I don't really have anything in common with them.
I mean, you guys are both human, you know, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to, at that point, you do have stuff in common. It's just bigger things, you know, more broad, you know, so you have to, but, you know, the one thing you do have in common also is that, you know, music. You're here to talk about their music and you're nosy. You got to be nosy with these people. As I often feel like when I'm often like, man, it would really stink to be like someone like Jason Aldean and come in and have to get questions asked all day. Like, because you have to answer it. I always go back to this thought. As the artist, you have to answer the question so fast, you might not be able to think of something, but whatever you say is in permanent marker forever. And it's going to get blasted everywhere onto like every news site. So it's like, I don't know. I always put myself in that position. Like if someone was like, "What, Evan? What did you listen to growing up?" I don't think I could give you an answer in like 5 seconds. And if I do, it's not going to be. I'm going to say Chumbawamba, tub thumping,
right?
And then I'm going to read that in the USA Today or something, and I'm going to be like, "Damn, that was not my favorite song growing up."
Right. And then that's going to become your thing. Evan Paul loves Chumbawamba. Right. Listen to nothing but Chumbawamba.
Right. We're here with the guy that loves Chumbawamba. And I'm like, dude. So it is difficult, I would say. So I try to keep that in mind when I'm interviewing people as well. I don't know if that's like a sympathy thing or I don't know. Or sometimes it makes me want to just dig in harder. Like, hey, this is the world you want to be in, buddy. Here we go.
So another example of this is when there's things that are sort of newsworthy and topical that like we want to get artists to talk about a little bit, but maybe we don't want to put them on the spot so they have that freak out moment. So you kind of open up a door. And I'm going to use an example. I won't name the artists, but after Ingrid Andress had her national anthem, you talked to a couple of artists, and you didn't want to. I think we talked about we didn't want to just put them on the spot and say, "What do you think about Ingrid Andress? Go." Right. So, what was the question that you ended up?
I felt bad, but I felt so there was a lot that went into that. First of all, I felt bad because I was interviewing these two artists the morning after, and granted, it wasn't like the Super Bowl, so like everybody wasn't watching the Home Run Derby. So these artists were on tour, so if they weren't, I don't know if they even knew what had happened that early in the morning yet. So my question was just, is there a lot of pressure? Or I was like, what are the difficulties of singing the national anthem live in a stadium? And by their answers, to me, it sounded like they didn't know what happened because they were just kind of like answering it. I don't know. So that's the way to do it. But then, their people don't want that in the interview.
Well, a couple things happened that were kind of interesting that day. Is one, I was amazed within the days that followed how big that story got. Like, it was the top line article on ESPN.com, TMZ, picked it up. Like, this is Ingrid Andress. She hasn't had a hit in a while, and she's only had one or two hits. So that was kind of amazing to me. But the other thing that happened is shortly after those interviews, Ingrid made a statement where she announced she was pretty drunk and she ended up going to rehab. So the questions that we asked those artists ended up kind of becoming pointless. There was no need to report on the difficulties of singing the national anthem in a stadium when the real reason that she had a hard time was because she was kind of boozed up, but you gave them an opportunity. My point was you gave them an opportunity to speak to it if they wanted to go there and felt good about it. If they didn't, you could have very well just as well moved on, and we still were kind of moving the story forward and helping people understand a little bit about what Ingrid was going through or what she might have been struggling with that performance.
Yeah, and some people might say like, well, that's you have to ask those questions directly, and it just doesn't work that way. There's just a lot that goes into it because these artists aren't on their own. They come backed by record labels, and those record labels have other artists, and you just want to keep that relationship open and flowing. That's one of the things that makes country music and country radio so great. So there's a lot of times where you have to do that. And that is just because you genuinely don't want to put them in a tough place. Now, if I was interviewing people that I didn't like or like I knew I would never have to talk to again, I would try to spike them in there and try to get their reaction, because sometimes if they don't answer it or they hang up on you, that's an even bigger headline, like Jonah Hill hangs up. I'm just saying his name because he hung up on me before. Jonah Hill hangs up on DJ after blah, blah, blah. So like, as opposed to them commenting on the story.
So if the story doesn't apply to them, so we've gotten into this before where like an artist come around, does like the rounds immediately after like the controversial thing and that they were a part of. Like if they were a part of the controversy. And I'll give you an example. Gretchen Wilson several years ago came in, and I don't think you asked this question, but I sat down with her, and it was immediately after she got arrested. It was like several days, just a few days after. Like, totally got to ask about the thing and let her get her side of the story and then do an article on that. Like, that would not be right for any record label to say, hey, listen, I don't want her talking about that.
Right.
I just want to focus on the music. Like, in those situations, that's when you have to, the journalism comes first, but none of the artists that we talked to about Ingrid were related to Ingrid in any sort of way outside of maybe they knew her. Friends of her.
When that scenario you just talked about happened to us was when Chris Young got arrested.
Yes.
Falsely accused of whatever. He ended up, they dropped everything. He didn't do anything. But when he got arrested, he was talking to, I had an interview with him like 2 days later, and they wanted to just talk about the music. And they told me not to ask anything about it, but Chris ended up talking about it on his own because it is kind of an elephant in the room, you know?
Well, that was an ugly one, too, because they told you not to ask about it, like, as the phone call and the interview started.
Yeah, when we had some, like, planned out, right.
So the way that ended up working out is, I think, that really, the coverage they're going to get on that interview really gets shortened. We can do the interview, but we're not right about Chris Young in the way. But what ended up happening there, too, is I talked to him through the publicist several days later, and he wanted to talk about it. Like, someone was telling people not to ask him about it, but at every interview that I saw with Chris, he was just openly going there. Like, we got, like, serviced, like, interviews from another radio outlet. I didn't even ask anything about it. And he went right into the situation. And I was like, okay, cool. We're talking about this.
Right. Here we go. Yeah.
which was interesting because he brought it up. So that was kind of a really sort of a strange one. I don't know. That was a bizarre. That was a situation where I felt like we should have been allowed a question or two.
Yeah. And also the Ingrid Andress thing just goes back to, all press is good press, because her streaming went through the roof the next day. People just wanted to make sure she could sing, and I'm glad her streaming went through the roof because people that didn't know who she was needed to hear that she could sing. Like, I had to convince my in-laws who this woman was, that she could indeed sing. I was like, she can sing. I don't know what happened, but she can sing. Yeah. And I think a lot of people did that. So that just goes back to no news is bad news, So Tigirlily Gold flipping their eyelids open, if that becomes what they get known for, it is what it is.
I like their song. I try to ring on, and I was glad you got the story of that song as well, and how she actually. And that was a good question you asked too about, like, you actually went. He actually told you to try the ring on. Like, he didn't, like, sometimes a couple will go shopping together and do that, but he's just like, yeah, try it on and let me know what you think.
I've never heard of a relationship more doomed than that after hearing that. No wonder it didn't work. Yeah. And her sister kind of looked at her too, like, like, that was pretty obvious. Anytime, that's like Al Bundy throwing the keys on the table saying, here you go, Peg. Like, go try a ring on. Like, excuse me? Like, this isn't 1930.
How did you do it? Did you have a way to sort of get the ring size? I think I stole a ring and got it measured, and I think I did that route.
Yeah, I think I did that too. I don't know how. Oh, I took one of her rings that she wore on her right hand ring finger, and the jeweler told me that it would be her left-hand ring finger would be a little bit smaller than her right-hand ring finger if she's right-handed, because
that makes sense.
There's more like muscle or whatever. So then we just made it a little bit smaller. That's kind of how I did it, but we had to have it resized like 18 times anyway.
In the interview, you told Tigirlily Gold that you tied a string to your wife's finger while she was sleeping.
Oh, yeah, I might have lied. The one I told you now is the true story. Honestly, as a lot of the presidents and past people say, I cannot recall.
Yeah, good. I just wanted to clear that up because that story sounded a little creepy.
I think if you go to like WikiHow, that's like one of the things to do is tie a string around her finger.
And then I think you followed that up with, what does Dolly Parton smell like? Which, back to back, I'm just trying to get you out of any. Just trying to keep your name clear.
Hey, if you Google what does Dolly Parton smell like, there is nothing out there. I was going for the story, man. Come on. No,
it wasn't a bad question on its own, but after the string and the sleeping thing, you're starting to paint a picture.
My follow-up to that was, where do you store the bodies?
Right.